There's something sacred about building a place with your own hands, especially when it stands on your land, free from anyone else's rules. My cabin in the Colorado Highlands was just that, a rugged sanctuary on 20 acres of sloping earth. I laid the foundation, hauled logs, stacked stones for the chimney, wired solar panels, and installed a wood stove that crackled like a loyal companion. It wasn't fancy. My girlfriend, Sarah, called it my off-grid haven. I just called it home. For 3 years, it was perfect. No neighbors, no noise, just the hum of the wind through the pines. Then, like a slow poison, change crept in. Survey stakes appeared, followed by bulldozers and rows of cookie-cutter homes sprawling across the opposite hillside. The development, called Cedar Ridge, came with slick brochures and a homeowners association, HOA, that acted like it owned the whole valley. Their president, Linda Harper, was a mid-50s woman with a razor-sharp bob and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She wore expensive outdoor gear like a uniform and introduced herself as the guardian of the community. I met her once while hauling water. She waved with fake warmth, but I didn't wave back. I thought I'd be left alone. My land was deeded long before Cedar Ridge existed. I had permits, inspections, everything locked in a metal box under my bed. The HOA had no claim on me, but Linda didn't care about deeds or laws. It started small, her pausing her SUV at the edge of my dirt road, staring at my cabin like she was measuring it. Once I caught her on a ridge, snapping photos while pretending to admire the view. I shrugged it off. Maybe she was just nosy. Then came a morning that changed everything. I'd been away for a week and drove up the gravel path to the trailhead, where I parked to hike to my cabin. Yellow tape blocked the path like a crime scene. Worse, a notice was nailed to my cabin door. Cedar Ridge HOA enforcement. Structure in violation. Access prohibited. It claimed my cabin broke their rules and threatened fines and lawsuits. My blood boiled. I ripped the paper down, splinters and all, and followed the tape. Someone had staked markers across my land like they owned it. This wasn't a mistake. It was an invasion. I photographed everything and sent it to my lawyer, Mark Jensen, in Telluride. He texted back, "Don't engage." But I was already in too deep. The next morning, I woke to the quiet of the wilderness, made coffee, and stepped onto my porch. For a moment, I almost believed it was a prank. Then I saw a white SUV with the Cedar Ridge logo parked at my trailhead. Linda stood there, flanked by 2 men in neon vests. "Mr. Carter," she said, like we were old friends. "We need to discuss your non-compliant structure." "My structure?" I snapped. "Our fire safety bylaws require all structures in our zone to be cleared for emergency access. This trail crosses a shared easement." I shot back. "That's county land. My property starts uphill." She didn't blink. "We'll be entering for inspection." When one of the men moved, I blocked him. "Trespass," and I called the sheriff. Linda's smile faded. They left, but one of the men muttered, "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I met Mark in town, showed him the notice, and explained the encounter. "It's a bluff," he said. "Your title predates their HOA. They're trying to intimidate you." He handed me a form to file with the sheriff, revoking access to anyone from Cedar Ridge. That night, I installed trail cameras, one at the trailhead, one near the cabin, wired to send motion alerts. I replaced my old private trail sign with a new one, "Trespassers prosecuted." HOA has no authority. By morning, I had alerts. A raccoon, a deer, and a man in a Cedar Ridge vest are measuring my land. Days later, 2 more showed up, jotting notes and using a laser measurer. "You boys lost?" I asked. They claimed they were conducting a safety survey. I recorded them. "You're trespassing. That's a crime." One mentioned Linda, saying she'd warned them I'd be uncooperative. I followed them out, making sure they left. Then the rumors started. Friends called, saying Cedar Ridge was spreading lies that my cabin was an Airbnb, causing noise. HOA newsletters warned of unauthorized lodging. A letter from the county arrived, demanding an inspection for suspected commercial use. I wasn't renting anything. This was sabotage. I called Mark. "They're escalating," I said. He told me to gather footage and an affidavit swearing I'd never rented the cabin. The next blow came on my ridge trail, a path I'd carve for firewood. The lower section was wrecked, steps torn out, beams snapped, orange tape tied around trees. A card under a rock read, "Erosion Control, authorized by Cedar Ridge Contractors." It was a lie. I checked my cameras. 2 men in vests were caught dragging boards and tossing them into the brush. One answered a call on speaker. Linda's voice was clear. "Make it look like it collapsed. Tie flags and get out. I'll file an erosion complaint." I saved the clip, backed it up, and sent it to Mark with the subject, "Got her." 2 days later, the county confirmed Cedar Ridge's boundary map was fake. No seal, no signature. Linda had forged it and slipped it to the county off record. Then a man named Tom Reed, one of the trespassers, showed up. "I've got something you want," he said, handing me a USB. He'd been paid cash by Linda to fake signs and damage my trail, but she was now blaming him. The USB had recordings, screenshots, even a video of Linda marking a zoning map with a Sharpie. "I screwed up," Tom said. "But if I go down, she's coming with me." Mark and I reviewed the files. They were gold. Linda's voice, handwriting, and fake map, all time-stamped. We filed for a fraud investigation. The sheriff got involved, and subpoenas flew. The county audited every HOA in the region. In court, Linda's team tried to paint me as hostile, citing fake complaints about noise and rentals. We countered with my affidavit and receipts. Then Mark played the video of Linda ordering the sabotage. The courtroom went silent. Tom testified, admitting he'd trespassed at Linda's direction. The county clerk confirmed the forged map. The sheriff detailed the trespass reports. Linda's defense crumbled. The judge ruled in my favor. $150,000 from Cedar Ridge, $50,000 for property damage, $25,000 for legal fees, $75,000 for distress. Linda faced criminal charges: fraud, tampering, trespass, and conspiracy. She was banned from HOA rolls, and Cedar Ridge was placed under oversight. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in months. Back home, I tore down the last HOA tape and rebuilt my trail with steel anchors. I hung a new sign, "Private Land. HOA, turn around or sue." The county certified my land as HOA-free forever. I framed the letter above my fireplace. Sarah visited, saw the fixed trail, and hugged me. "They picked the wrong guy," she whispered. Linda was charged, and Cedar Ridge imploded. 20 families left, some suing. I got a thank you note with a photo of Linda's old president's sign, snapped in half. The county later approved a permit for 5 off-grid cabins on my land, a retreat born from the fight. Locals, fed up with HOAs, cheered me on. We celebrated with a bonfire, whiskey, and stars. I named the cabins No HOA Zone. Everyone raised a glass. What do you think about this story? Have you faced injustice or overreach in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear your take on standing up to power and fighting for what's yours. Your voice matters.